Hello friends, this is our maiden video and in this video we are going to discuss about diseases of pigeon pea. As per 5th reading committee, there are two diseases, pigeon pea wilt and pigeon pea sterility mosaic. In this video we will be talking only about pigeon pea wilt. Whenever we think of wilt, the first name that comes in our mind is Fusarium, and here it is host specific to Fusarium udum, and it is very destructive in pigeon pea growing areas like Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, as well as in Bihar. There are some critical stages at which the disease incidence is maximum. These are flowering and pod formation. This is all because the plant water supply is hampered, and due to that the flowering and pod formation is also affected. Since the root is infected, it gets weakened, and because of that, nematode gets an easy entry inside the root and it increases the severity of infection. The nematodes involved are Heterodera kezani and root knot nematodes. Many of us face difficulty in differentiating the symptoms caused by deficiency and caused by pathogen. So let me tell you, there are two things. Some symptoms are common, while some are specific to the pathogen. So common symptoms will not help you in fetching the marks, but the specific symptoms will be. So the common symptoms you can say like yellowing of the leaves, drying of the plant or withering of the leaves. While the specific symptoms like patches, why I'm saying patchy appearance? Because the fusarium is soil borne. That's why the patchy appearance will be seen in the field. And in this case, the patches are in the centrifugal manner, that is away from the center, or you can say towards the periphery. We can also see the blackening of the main roots. That is, when you will uproot the plant, you can see the roots are blackened and the stem base is also blackened. And after splitting up, we can see the blackening of the xylem vessels also. And it is not mandatory that a complete plant have to be dried. There can be partial wilting, and fusarium is very specific to form pinkish cottony mass on the base of the stem. Where there is blackening, there will be pinkish cottony mass too, and there may be purple bands. Now on the left side, the picture is telling about the blackening of the roots as well as the blackening of the xylem vessels, where the arrow is indicating. On the right hand side, the picture is not of pigeon pea, but it is just for showing the wilting symptoms. On the bottom left, the first is healthy plant. See the another one that is infected. See the drooping of the leaves. And the third one is the infected roots. On the right hand side, the patchy appearance is shown in which the pigeon pea plant is completely dried. Now we will be talking about etiology. Earlier, the teleomorph for the fusarium was not known and they were grouped under Deuteromycetes. But now their teleomorph is known and we group them under Ascomycota. The teleomorph here is Gibberella indica. They are confined to vascular tissues, that is, they infect xylem vessels. They can be intracellular or intercellular. The mycelium is hyaline and sectate, obviously because they belong to Ascomycota, and they produce three kind of spores. Fusarium usually produces three kind of spores, that is microconidia, macroconidia and chlamydospores, but not in all cases. Macro, as the name is indicating, means large, that is on the top left you can see macroconidia, banana shape, canoe shape or sickle shape, whereas micro means small, and so they are oval shape or globular shape. And in some cases chlamydospore are also formed as a survival structure. Actually, during the adverse condition, the vegetative structure gets thickened and they form chlamydospores to overwinter the adverse condition. Now the main part has come, that is the disease cycle. First of all, there will be dormancy, that is, they will overwinter in the debris, in the soil. So they can be in the form of mycelium, either microconidia or macroconidia, or maybe in the form of chlamydospores. When the favorable condition arise, they will germinate, they will form the germ tube, and they will start the infection. They will infect the root tips and colonize the xylem vessels. Against this, the plant will show its defense mechanism, and due to this, tylosis and gum production will be followed. Because of this fight, there will be blocking of the xylem vessels, and since the plant supply is interrupted, there will be drooping and wilting and maybe the death of the plant. But the pathogen is enzyme, and it will keep on producing microconidia, macroconidia, and chlamydospores, and the cycle continues. Now let's talk about favorable conditions. I have already told that this is soil-borne pathogen. It survives on plant debris for 3 years. So if you are thinking of crop rotation, then you have to think about a long-term crop rotation. There are two things, the primary inoculum and the secondary inoculum. Primary inoculum is the inoculum that initiates the infection. That may be infected seeds, or maybe the mycelium, infected mycelium on the debris, or maybe the chlamydospores. And the secondary inoculum that cause the infection in the same season, that is conidia, macro or microconidia. If there is high biomass, that is, if there is more density, more plant density, then there will be more humidity, and that will favor the pathogen. Now the last segment has arrived, that is management practices. The safest one is use of resistant cultivars. Some of them are ICPL 87 and C11. Well, the primary and important one is field sanitation. We have to remove the weeds, we have to remove the plant debris, we have to remove, or we have to prune the infected plants, infected twigs. We can also go for crop rotation, that should be long term crop rotation, and we can do the green manuring. How green manuring is helping? Actually, we know that in green manuring, we have to incorporate the green live plants into the soil, and the microbes will be decomposing on it. So the soil microbes will give a tough competition to the pathogen, and hence the plant pathogen population inside the soil will be comparatively low as compared to the soil microbes decomposing green manures. The competition can be for food or can be for space. And another one we can go for, that is Bacillus subtilis, that is biological control. We can go for soil drenching. So that's it from this slide. And next we will be talking about pigeon pea sterility mosaic.